stranger in a strange land. Well, this message is not about the 1961 science fiction classic where a Martian came down to Earth. However, I think for the woman at the well, Jesus might as well have been a Martian. What an experience, a radical experience for her to be, one, speaking with a man at the center of town by the well, to a Jew, no less, speaking with a Samaritan, and then a Jew speaking with a Samaritan about living water, as much as he wants that water from the well. It's quite a curious dialogue or exchange that goes on. The woman has a name in the Eastern Church. It's Fotini, and that's her name, so we'll call her Fotini. We'll be Eastern for today. And John, the writer, the gospel writer, sets the stage for his ministry in looking at this dialogue between a Jew and a Samaritan, because John is very interested in building a bigger, a deeper, a broader, a wider community. And it starts for John, certainly, between various garden varieties of Judaism and all the different Greek philosophies and Gentiles that would mix into this context. And so he's interested in building this community, and certainly this story creates a type of bridge. Jesus' theology, his belief, is one that welcomes all. And he invites us always to sort of read between the lines. Don't get stuck. Open our hearts and minds to the words and what they might mean. Do a 360, if you will, but recognize that what we think we understand is just the beginning, and there's so much more. We see also not only Samaritans and Jews working things out here, but we also see women in a very elevated position. This adds a depth and breadth to the community that Jesus is trying to build, and John, of course, is trying to build. And it creates a basis, I think, for us in the modern church to always welcome all people. All people. To recognize that all people are sacred. To resist the temptation to judge so much. To open our hearts and minds. To recognize that God is with everyone. Everyone. To declare mercy and grace. You know, I'll tell you, this issue of building community and resisting the idea of speaking poorly about others who are different, you know, but doing no harm. Different and doing no harm. You know, by judging others, think about it. Read between the lines. You might be judging God and the Holy Spirit. We're invited to love all of our neighbors, and Jesus is doing just that by the time he is spending with the Samaritan woman. It's interesting that Jesus tells her that he is Messiah. Interesting. He told her that he is Messiah. That's a powerful, powerful expression. Think about it. Think about how he empowered her. Imagine what his hopes might well have been for her. He sets a stage, for sure, for the modern church to expand and grow beyond our wildest imaginations. Now, Jesus is thirsty. Let's be clear. He's as thirsty as the Israelites were in the first lesson. You can't go long without water, right? He's hot, he's tired, he needs a drink of water. Regular water. But he makes it clear, beyond that water that he desperately needs to live, and we all desperately need to live, there's another water as well. A living water. The peace. The shalom. 2,000 years later, we need water too. All of humanity needs clean water. It's essential for our life. And I think the lesson today is a lesson about understanding the fullness of what living water might mean. In fact, it begins with a drink from Jacob's well, and then it goes beyond into eternity. I suppose it creates an invitation for us this Lenten season to also pay attention not only to our interior lives and the lives that we create in society, but also to pay special attention to our relationship with creation. To think about how can we better care for it moving forward. Well, anyway, Fotini, she makes a strong move to town. She takes off. Once she understands who Jesus is, and she's pretty convinced, but she's not totally convinced, but she's pretty convinced, she runs to town. And she announces to the town, she says, you know, I met a guy who told me everything I ever did. Do you think he might be the Messiah? Do you think he might be the Messiah? She influences people by her testimony. Just her simple testimony convinced many that she met Messiah. She met Messiah. And it's an interesting thing that Fotini comes from such a humble position in that town, I suspect. She probably, well, she was married 5 times, probably maybe one brother died and the next one and the next one and the next one. But in any event, she had a humble life and yet is delivering the single most powerful message a person could have ever delivered in Samaria or Judea or Galilee in their lifetime. The single most powerful message this lady delivers. A message about Messiah. And the last will be first. And the last will be first. One of the things about ministry, the ministry that we are on and gathered here today and throughout the week here at St. John Lutheran Church, is we are invited to recognize that we are believers. We too are on a pathway. It's a new pathway. It's the pathway of 2023. It's the pathway where we as disciples have been truly entrusted by God to work for the peace. Truly entrusted. A sacred commitment is being made. And our community at St. John is evolving. Our sense of mission is expanding. the impact of how God works through the poor and the brokenhearted is becoming more clear and evident. It will grow here. I promise you that. It will grow. As we develop a ministry for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as we tell the world that these people are sacred and need our help, as we have begun a ministry to visit with those who are abandoned in nursing homes, to finally have a friend to visit with. It's only the beginning, but it's started. It's taken time. And what's going to happen, just like that woman in the well, Fotini, who becomes a powerful message from a position of relative obscurity, we're going to see that the abandoned and the least of these will wash away the madness created by this world. They will show us the love of God in a unique and special way. Our lives will be transformed as we celebrate the least of these, and we will be telling tales of deep, deep wisdom. You see, living water washes over us every day, and it's a good thing. Cool, clean, flowing water for body and for soul. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Amen.